representing China, KUAI Man.
Into the Infinity Arena comes KUAI Man, the still only 21-year-old who already has 5 career titles to her name. The 21-year-old from China against the 23-year-old from Korea Republic, Joo Cheonhui, who 2 years on from a breakout season is looking to recapture the form that's taken her nearly all the way to a title on the WTT series. We're playing the best of 5 as this is the round of 32. That will only change to best of 7 when we get to our quarterfinals. And it's a first ever WTT encounter between 2 players separated by 24 world ranking points. As it is, KUAI Man has been on the move upwards spectacularly over the last 12 months. For Joo Cheonhui, well, she has rather stagnated since an explosive breakout year, as I said, in 2023. More on that in just a moment. Let's just catch up with our Australian umpire, Marie Pinkovich.
From Macau, China.
And she will be calling the players across for the coin toss before I'll bring my co-commentator in to really build up to our first match of this first session on day 2 here in Macau.
Red or blue? Blue, red. Red, red. Service. Side.
So there's another look at KUAI Man, who we see plenty of course, in both singles and doubles action at all of our major events. Here it's singles of the way because it's a WTT Champions in here. But let's talk about the Korean opponent. Fraser Riley, I'm delighted to say, is alongside me for this one. Fraser, great to have you here under the purple lights once again. I know you're enjoying yourself already here in Macau. Tell us about that 2023 for Joo Cheonhui and whether or not she's kicked on from there.
Great to be with you, John. I think she has kicked on, but perhaps she just feels as though this is also new for her. You know, she's a young player, 23 years of age, very, very capable, of course. Someone who was born in China, moved over to Korea, and I think is very grateful to play under the purple lights. I feel like it's a belief thing with her. I really, really do, because we saw her take Sun Ying Xia to 7 games at that Singapore Smash 2 years ago. We know her level.
And now she's up against another of the Chinese superstars, so that's match we referenced was, of course, against the world #1. Now it's the world #4. And, of course, for KUAI Man, let's have a little look critically, shall we now, because such are her levels, Fraser. There's a sense that perhaps, in terms of champions, she could achieve better. Quarterfinalist in Chongqing in 2025, Incheon likewise, and Yokohama this year. Is she on seeding better than that? She is, right?
She is. I mean, she's come so close to a major title. She won the season opening star contender in Doha, lost in the final of the Singapore Smash, and lost in the final of the Women's World Cup. So she's right there, right on the brink of her best ever result.
Just a quick look at what they're playing on here. It's been a spectacular setting, as it always is. And you happy with what you've seen so far, Fraser?
Yeah, it's been amazing, absolutely amazing.
Let's have a look at the prize money there. 800,000 is the prize pot here. They'll work their way through, as you can see there, to day 6, which is the semis and finals day. As far as day 2 is concerned, we're still with round of 32. The round of 16 kicks in from day 3 onwards, and that is the week that I really hope you're going to spend with us. Wherever you are around the world, thank you so much for joining us here. It's great to have you along. And of course, we like to get you involved as much as we possibly can. That means that we'll get into votes, and we'll have a little look in here at the fan vote that's been made at worldtabletennis.com. 87% going with KUAI Man. I don't see any reason why that should surprise us, but let's see how things turn out on the table. As you can hear, the party's really getting started here. It's noisy inside the Infinity Arena, and it's only going to get louder as we see these two in action.
First game, Joo to serve, Lovell. Love 1.
Straight away, let's have a little look at the stylistic contrast we're going to have here. We know KUAI Man well enough to know that she's actually going to be using a different hand to Joo Cheonhui. What about the style we'll see from the Korean player?
She's a very aggressive right-hander player, John. Very textbook player, typical of an Asian player.
Just
inverted rubber on both sides.
Going back to that 2023, of course, she made a quarterfinal as well in Singapore at the smash there before getting almost all the way in Bangkok at that star contender. When she first came on the scene, what was it that surprised people? What was it about Joo Cheonhui that obviously caught people out?
I'd say how powerful and athletic that she was, and how crisp and clean her attacks were. We were thinking that she'd be a top 10 player very, very quickly, Joo Cheonhui, and you know, I guess the fact that she hasn't been able to do that is testament to the depth of quality that we're seeing in the top 30 in the world.
Yeah, she made it to 14, didn't she, back in 2024, and now she's just slipped away really to 28 in the rankings.
4-1.
Yeah, that's right, John. She's still looking for her first ever WTT senior title. Came very, very close at that star contender Bangkok 2 years ago, where Chen Qintong beat her and ended up becoming the Triple Crown champion.
Yeah, just looking at more recent outings for her, quarter-finalist in Brazil at Foz do Iguaçu.
1-5.
And even more recently than that, in Sweden at the Europe Smash, it was a round of 32 exit. Round of 32 similarly at Champions Yokohama. But she's off to a good start here. Very bright, very sharp early on here. It's interesting, we were talking about this match ahead of time and wondering if there is a frailty to KUAI Man at the moment. We have seen it, she plays a lot, we see her in singles and doubles, and it's just been a suspicion lately that at times it hasn't quite gone her way. Can you explain why, and if so, what, Fraser, would the Joo Cheonhui camp be looking to do to exploit any possible weaknesses, any cracks?
I think that Joo Cheonhui has to try to really take the game to KUAI Man as soon as possible. You know, we've seen that if you can do that, you can actually get some momentum against KUAI Man. And then you can get her a little bit nervous, as we saw actually at the World Championships as well, especially in the mixed doubles with Lin Shidong. You could see that she was quite shaken and stirred. This is still quite new to her as well as a top 5 player.
And you want to follow the Sheshunyao playbook because she's picked up 2 big wins against her, 3-1 and a 4-0 as well.
Yeah, she beat her in Yokohama and at the Europe Smash, and of course Miwa Haramoto bageled her at the Champions Incheon.
So it can be done if you get after KUAI Man early on, maybe sow the seeds of doubt.
Yeah.
But there's no denying her talent, and of course she's still young and still growing in that.
Great defense from the Korean here.
Oh, too good though from KUAI Man, because Joo Cheonhui was beginning to loop the ball back and demand a little bit more from KUAI Man, and she delivered.
That finish was scrumptious, inside out, fading it with all that side spin, burying the ball. Wow.
That's how you end a debate.
Exactly. Full stop.
8-4.
Well, I'm very impressed with how Joo Cheonhui's been doing in the serve-receive. It's tricky against a lefty like KUAI Man, who serves with so much quality. She can completely shut down your ability to flick and get on the front foot straight away. Very difficult to prevent KUAI Man from playing a spinny third ball. Joo's done really, really well to nullify any kind of spin coming into the middle and forehand. Good blocking there as well. Now that's impressive.
She switched, didn't she? Because she took the initial attack and then found herself forced onto the block.
And she didn't panic. Look how she uses the pace, keeps the bat high, stays low, redirecting, sponging up the speed and spin. She's very confident.
4-10.
And that confidence has carried her now to 6 game points. An all-action start here from the Korean player. And KUAI Man is up against it as she serves.
5-10.
And every now and then a reminder And what makes her so special? That was effortless.
Yeah, top spin, side spin on the serve. That time, Joo couldn't quite contain her. She knew where the receive was going to come. Little strawberry from KUAI Man. And then harassing that crossover section with the backhand.
She may yet drop this game, but she's just shown a few signs here that she's waking up if she was up to a slow start.
Quite right.
And there it is, compounding a really solid start to this. All hustle, all bustle, very positive. An early show of intent from Joo Cheonhui as she takes out the first against the 4th seed here. Is she going to catch her cold in this opening matchup this morning here in Macau? 11-6 to the underdog in the first.
한두 개씩 주고 받아도 어차피 강하게 안 오니까 그냥 던질 수 있어. 잘하고 있어. 자, 자. 那你提到打然后准备别拉一个没关系的，然后发球还是加上火啊，然后心态嘴调动起来啊，拼着他打。
So the final instructions there from Joo Cheonhui to a player who's just dropped the first game, maybe in surprising fashion here. Before that, one would imagine that Cho Young-suk wouldn't have had too much in terms of things that Joo Cheonhui needs to change.
Level.
And I like your rhetorical question, John. Could she catch her cold? This is the first match of the day, and it relates well to the point that we were making about a few players that have been able to beat KUAI Man quite quickly, and very surprisingly, given the fact that she is a top 5 player.
And remember, as we always say, when you are in these early rounds at these events, best of 5 can be particularly advantageous to the lower ranked player. An opportunity to catch them cold, to really catch the star before they can gather themselves. If she can keep this momentum up, Cheonhui, this turns into a serious problem for the number 4 seed.
We saw how quickly, actually, Shrija Akula was able to get on the front foot against KUAI Man. I think that was an Incheon, and she very, very nearly beat the Chinese player. So Joo has to think about that performance there from the Indian and try and take heed from it.
Lovely change of angle, going wide to the backhand, catching her opponent out.
Beautiful. On the balls of her feet. Good balance from KUAI Man. She's so good at playing those parallels, which is the shorter side, the shorter length to play, so the opponent isn't expecting that as often, because it's the more difficult shot to play. But KUAI Man can do it so seamlessly.
But look at Cheonhui again, on the balls of her feet, as you mentioned earlier on. She has really brought purpose to this. She's projecting tremendous intent here. But she has to rein it in sometimes. So it's going to be a calculated approach from her. Clearly it's paid dividends so far. Can she keep it up?
She'll have to expect some kind of response from KUAI Man here. KUAI Man sticking with her a lot better than what she did in that opening game.
It feels more like it from KUAI Man, doesn't it?
It does. It looked like Joo Cheonhui had got on the front foot and probably would have won the point. But KUAI Man holding down the fort. Nice blocking from her that time. I'd say that out of any other national team, the Koreans play most similar to Team China players. in terms of the variations, the transfer of weight, the technique. Not too much difference that I could really talk about.
That's exactly what she likes to set up. And she's so quick to pounce on those. As soon as she can get around onto that forehand, in that parallel that you said, that's twice now we've seen her use that play with different sides of the bat, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be a confidence booster for KUAI Man, that. Bottle challenge style serve, using it so aggressively, venomous serve down the line.
Just looks as if the confidence levels are rising for the Chinese player here. And now, does it look rather as if Cheonhui's forcing it or being made to force it? It came a lot easier for her in the opening game, especially.
When you feel pressured by the scoreboard and by the quality of your opponent, sometimes you force errors. We heard that, you know, Jun Sung's coach was talking about his shot selection and looking to improve that.
The momentum very much with KUAI Man, as you can see. 6 of the last 8 points have gone her way. Looking to grab a game to level things up. Yeah, and that one sums it up. She's on top right now, emphatically so. Once again, just catching Cheonhui in that little crossover there, unable to offer anything by way of return.
She's trying to bring her into the table and then take her out very, very quickly, KUAI Man. She's done very well at that tactic this game. At that time, a little bit wild from her. I'm wondering whether we're going to see serves of longer length from Joo at this stage in the game. Will she try and delay, well, skip past the serve-receive game that she's been struggling in and get a long ball straight away to attack?
She adjusted well initially there, KUAI Man, but ultimately surrenders the point, and that brings Joo within 2 now. Hence the cries from the crowd, the KUAI Man fans making themselves heard.
We may see a Chinese timeout here if Joo can win the point. Great receive.
Brilliant, as you said, she pushed it to the purple paint, and from that point on, she made the running in that point, and it's a big one, looking to the coaches now. There you go.
Timeout.
You called it, sir. She has dropped, what, 3 points in a row from a position of strength here in a game that she really doesn't want to be surrendering, KUAI Man. The last time KUAI Man took some advice from Joo Cheonhui, she came back and produced an immediate result. You could see a tactical change in her. She reeled off points against Joo Cheonhui, and she'll have to hope she can do so again. She needs a couple to get across the line in this second game and level things up. But there's been a fight back by the Korean.
9-8.
And the instruction from Joo Cheonhui was get on the front foot, be aggressive, and we saw signs of that straight away as she sets up a couple of game points.
Classic third ball attack. That time, Joo couldn't do what she did in the point before with that beautiful guide flick out wide to the forehand. Two game points here for KUAI Man.
Oh, that's how you do it. That was aggressive. That's just what the doctor/coach ordered, as she does get the game won. A little wobble towards the end, but KUAI Man emphatically leveling things up here in the Infinity Arena.
Good composure there from KUAI Man, because it got a little bit tricky, a little bit sticky. She manages to keep her cool.
She goes for the water, and she's won that one by 11-8. It's 1-1 now.
他反我拿。好吧，然后整体节奏控制好，跟着他的发球手用一下。 主动性强的摆短拖长，然后包括你接完重心衔接就行，好吧？一分钟拼啊，中心下来的，中心下来的啊。
KUAI Man levels up at 1 apiece, and while her form in WTT Champions events this calendar year 2025 might not be quite what she wants, a string of quarter-final exits,
Third game.
she's got to just get through this first round here.
Level. Love 1.
Fraser Riley's with me. In this relative sprint that is a best of 5, how important was that second game, particularly from this woman's point of view? She's dropped it.
Yeah, extremely important.
flash,
I feel as if she would have won that game, Joo Cheonhui. She would have become slight favourite there. But now, KUAI Man strong favourite at 1-1.
2 love.
Real length there that challenged Joo Cheonhui. Why do you say she's a strong favourite now?
Because it goes back to a similar sort of scoreline to if it was love all in games. Pressure-wise.
2-1.
Well, she's responded to it brilliantly there, just falling away into that almost cartwheeling inside-out forehand. But I take your point, because on seeding, on build-up to this one, you fancy KUAI Man. So what does Joo have to do?
Well, a shot that she just made there could actually alter the odds.
1-3.
That will probably be the best shot of this game, and it's something that could live rent-free in the mind of KUAI Man. You know, KUAI Man played that gorgeous inside-out in the first game. That one was even better.
Yeah, lovely shot.
Bit of a one-up kind of shot. But look at KUAI Man here.
Yeah, she picked up an easy point straight after that, and now she's pounded away to another. So she does look, as you say, as if she's very much easing into the favourites role here. Again, we've seen 2 of them now. That bottle challenge, that's a very deep one, just catching the edge there.
But that one was more to the middle, which is what she tried at 8-10 game points down in the last one. KUAI Man didn't anticipate that one.
Yeah, not into the corner as much, and she didn't see it coming. But the pace and the length, enough to earn the point. Very sharp, very elastic in terms of the way she produced that shot to the KUAI Man forehand.
She's living with KUAI Man in the rally, but it's the serve receive, John. It feels like KUAI Man is the more likely player to win with the third ball kill because of her service quality. For the first time in the match, KUAI Man brings out the reverse pendulum, and Joo deals with it fairly well, but then KUAI with really, really aggressive play and good recovery in between strokes.
Let 3-5.
Good length on the serve, but then a little bit hesitant.
Funny, you look at everyone players' idiosyncrasy. She does not like a sleeve, Joo Cheonhui. Always hiking that up, always hitching things up to the shoulders there.
Showing off the big guns.
Are you a sleeves up or down kind of player?
I'm a sleeves down, John. I've got nothing to show.
No Nadal for you then.
Nope. Exceptional.
5.
She threaded it through the eye of a needle there, Joo Cheonhui, seriously. Beautiful receive, half long push, gets to bat high, knows that KUAI is going to brush. That is an incredible counter topspin. Close to 0 on the margin for error when you try and take it on with that much power.
5,
So
7.
the problem is she's played 2 outstanding shots at various stages in this game, but then has dropped enough to mean that she trails by 2 still.
Because the serve receive is a constantly uphill battle. KUAI Man is so subtle with the serve that she plays, that pendulum serve. She'll play something into a very, very similar region to what she did in the serve before, but to a slightly more uncomfortable area, so it baits you into trying something that actually you might not really want to take on. But because you have to act upon instinct, that's where you go wrong.
5, 8.
That's why against the Chinese players, you kind of have to play out of your mind to win. Because if you're in your mind, if you're thinking about tactics and patterns, you're likely to get caught into situations you don't want to be in.
9, 5.
This is now turning into a serious problem for Joo Cheonhui, as KUAI Man has very comfortably handled that serve to give herself a 4-point cushion as she serves now to try and take charge.
9, 6.
Show of frustration there, stamp of the feet, a little chat with herself. That's a chance that's gone. Oh,
10.
sensational anticipation.
So divisive there, KUAI Man. Look at the adjustments that she makes with the footwork there.
4 game points for a 2-1 lead then.
11,
And she takes
6.
it at the first time of
KUAI.
asking, and it
KUAI
is the
leads
player
2
from
games
China
to 1.
who, as you suggested, has moved naturally back into strong favorite status in this match, who leads by 2 games to 1. So it's a turnaround in fortunes here. KUAI Man has fought back and put herself within 1 game now of the round of 16. So let's have a little look outside of the practice hall. The 8 tables out there, all in good use as the players prepare themselves and we prepare to see our first men's action. Jonathan Grut, you can see there, somebody who's no stranger to going very deep in these major tier events against Japan's Hiroto Shinozuka. And there he is, getting ready to take on the Dane in the first of our men's singles matches of this opening session of day 2 here at WTT Champions Macao 2025. Whoops, it's a bit early for that. Are you not entertained? This has been a good match, this one, because the number 4 seed, KUAI Man, has had to really produce some of her best play to fight back against Korea Republic's Joo Cheonhui.
4th game. KUAI to serve. Level. One love.
Yeah, she's on it now, Fraser. Beautifully played.
This is my favourite KUAI Man shot, the glancer. A lot of people ask, why do so many Chinese players play the same? Some of them will criticise and say it's boring, it's repetitive, but it is the most tried and tested method, and they have the technique that they do because it is the most simple and effective and subtle way of playing. You could see there, Joo Cheonhui rooted to the spot. There was absolutely no giveaway before the point of contact to where KUAI Man was going to go.
There's also a greater variety to the KUAI Man game, isn't there? What we're seeing from Joo Cheonhui, yes, she's produced a couple of great shots, but the touch, the nuance from the Chinese player has accumulated points.
There's a zen to the Team China players. They're constantly focusing on the rhythm of the rally, not the shot, not necessarily how to meet the ball. They're solely focused on the rhythm.
Ooh, and that was nice. Need a few more of those. That dismissive, whipped flick of the backhand there, very deep. But those shots have been few and far between over the last 2 games for Joo Cheonhui.
Yeah. It's going to be very, very tough to play winners against KUAI Man, as well as, you know, she anticipates.
But one way or another, what she needed to do was to win the next point, and she's done that. And that's something we haven't seen since the first game for the Korean player.
All.
And now it's her face that's beginning to wear a tale of frustration as time is running out for Joo Cheonhui. Remember, she got off to such a great start here, and the winner of this one will be up against Mima Ito, who overcame a really strong challenge from the Australian Yang Zi-Liu. Might have won in straight games, but they were all very competitive.
Yeah, good fight there from the Australian. Oh, nothing that Joo Cheonhui could do about that. A P roll-up. Not seen so many of those this match, actually.
No.
Can't recall any.
You're right, I think. Yeah, you're right.
Time
So
out.
KUAI Man's back in front. Timeout called then by the Korean camp. As you've come to a point, really, if you're Joo Cheonhui, when something has to change, something has to give, because the narrative has switched inexorably towards a KUAI Man win, unless something alters the complexion of it.
I won't stop. Yeah. Yeah. Feel.
있는데 아까 던질 때 아까처럼 여기다가 그냥 이렇게 들어오고 약간 번식을 줘도 상관적인 거. 그냥 이 타이밍은 그냥 요것도 괜찮은데.
Time.
Joo Cheonhui, a study in contemplation as she makes her way back to the table. She's got to refocus and rediscover the industry
3-4.
of the first game, or she's exiting this event.
I think when she won that first game, she began to think about it, and that was kind of her downfall.
I know exactly what you mean. It happens across sports, doesn't it? Flow state works, overthinking doesn't. That said, we have seen a marked improvement from KUAI Man.
You can't even sit on a positive thought in this sport, either. Too much. You can't really dwell on anything. Brilliant.
That said, Fraser, were there enough dimensions to what Joo Cheonhui was doing earlier on to be sustainable across 3 games to win it?
I think so.
If she'd carried on, you think she'd have had a chance?
Yeah, I mean, we would have seen an improvement from KUAI Man, but yeah, she would have had a great chance. I think it's better trying to bring KUAI Man in first and then, you know, try and take her out wide than trying to take her out wide straight away.
Feels a bit late now because she even got away with one there. KUAI Man wins the point for a 5-point lead.
8-4.
Even though she's been pretty strong in this match against those slower, spinnier balls, it's not the kind of situation Joo Cheonhui wants to be in. She'd rather face something floatier so that she can drive forwards through the ball more than having to calculate how much she has to come over the top of it.
Yeah, she was doing that well in the first game, wasn't she? Really on the front foot.
Yeah.
But
9-4.
we had a glimpse of what worked for her early on there, only for KUAI Man to fire back. As she moves closer now to a win. And that is just around the corner now, because with that sumptuous backhand into the corner of the table, she sets up match points, 6 of them.
Let 4-10. 5-10. 10-6.
This is what she needs to do. The stakes couldn't be higher.
Lashing the ball, nice wide serve.
But she needs more. There's still 4 match points as KUAI Man prepares to serve.
10-7.
You put Joo Cheonhui up against the wall, back to the wall. Look at what comes out. She has been fighting here.
Well, if KUAI Man had another timeout in the locker, Choyuki would be calling it now.
But now the resistance ends finally. And it's KUAI Man who gets across the line, having dropped the opening game, and books her place in the round of 16 in that encounter with Mima Ito. Entertaining start to the day, this one, Fraser. And that's because Joo Cheonhui made the early running with that 11-6 win. But we did see what has seen or shown KUAI Man to be one of the future stars of the game.
Yeah, Joo Cheonhui flashbanging her in the first game. Of course, it's a first ever meeting between the two, so you've got to consider how familiar KUAI Man was with the Korean. But then, the more she went on, the more she got used to the rhythm and the style of her opponent. And it became one-way traffic fairly quickly. Nice rally there to seal the deal from KUAI Man. Looking forward to watching her against Ito. Repeat of the World Cup semi-final there.
That should be a lot of fun. So 6-11, 11-8, 11-6, 11-7 over 32 minutes. So Joo Cheonhui did take her beyond the half-hour mark there, but you feel, as Fraser rightly said, any chance she might have had of winning would have relied on her getting in front, and in that second game in particular, winning it and putting some huge pressure on her Chinese opponent. Okay, let's have a little look at what's coming next as we see the men for the first time today on day 2 here in Macau, and it is Denmark against Japan in the shape of Jonathan Groth facing Hiroto Shinozuka. That, of course, is a round of 32 matchup. Don't miss it. It's on its way next. We're only just getting up and running here inside the Infinity Arena. One women's singles match played and plenty more still to come. We've got 2 more of the top 4 women's seeds in action later on, but our focus is going to switch to the men's right now. So after that win for KUAI Man, we will be looking at Jonathan Groth against Hirota Shinozuka. We have Chen Xingtong